What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. I am your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here today, this morning. Man, here we are. It's already Friday, guys. I hope you're all having a very, very good day today. Now, we're going to go ahead and get things started in just a few minutes. First of all, I want to say once again, thank you all so much for being here. I do greatly appreciate you guys being here. And what is up with my YouTube thing here on this thing? I don't know what's going on there. Um, yeah, guys, man, Friday. Today I'm going to be talking just about a few little things. I know I was planning on having Stevie J's reviews here this morning, and I know that his time zone is a little bit different than ours, so we're going to see if he gets here by the end of the stream, and if not, it's all good. We'll get together with Stevie J's very, very, very soon. If you guys don't follow Stevie J reviews, you guys should go check him out. For one, he's a cool guy, and he's very well spoken. I don't know. I like the guy myself. If you should go check out his channel if you haven't checked out Stevie J's reviews before. So today, in case you can't see, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about just some stuff going on throughout the week. You can see my thumbnail there. I'm going to talk a little bit about Terminator, but mostly that'll be with Stevie J's reviews if he ends up being able to make it here to the stream today. And again, guys, don't act like he's super committed to having to be here or anything. Don't beat him up about it because like I said, he lives across the pond, man. He's over there. He's over in, I believe, Australia. I could be wrong there. Feel free to correct me. But so it's hard to get people's schedules to align. So we've got a pretty exciting night tonight lined up for you. If everything seems to work out, I'm going to have some special guests on the Trailer Park Live tonight. Something I don't normally do during the Trailer Park Live. I've had people on there before on the Trailer Park Live, but mostly I keep that show for just me, myself going off ranting. But if things go right, I'm gonna have a couple of special guests on tonight. Those would be including Drunk 3PO if he's actually able to make it on. And Drunk 3PO, he is 3 hours ahead of my time zone here where I'm at. I'm out here on the West Coast. He's on the East Coast. So 8 o'clock my time is 11 o'clock his time. So I completely understand if he's not able to make it, and we'll get that set up for another day as well. Also may have Mad Max movie talk on tonight as well, and probably not at the same time as Drunk 3PO. As we're not trying to have discourse between two different people on my stream, but we're gonna get together tonight, hopefully very soon, and have, I don't know, just a conversation. And whether it gets difficult or not, that's okay, guys. I've talked here many times. I don't have a huge ego when it comes to these things. Now, me, just like anybody else, I can be a jerk at times. Hey, I totally get that. That's just how it is. We're all different people. We all have different views. We all have different viewpoints. That's why I want to bring Drunk 3PO onto the show. I want to bring Mad Max onto the show, and I can guarantee you that if I get both of these guys on tonight, it will be an absolutely great time with some great conversations to be had that I think a lot of people want to have, but maybe don't necessarily have the time nor the inclination or the care to have those conversations with other people. And if you guys know me here, guys, like when it comes to a lot of these things going on in fandoms lately, like I'm like kind of in the middle of it all. Like when I was growing up, and this is something I'm used to. When I was growing up, my cousin, he was in a gang, back home, and what's funny is some of the people, not all the people, some of the people I hung out with when I was growing up were part of the opposing gang of people there back home. And for me, like I said, it's always been one of those kinds of things, and for the most part, I'm used to that. You know what I mean? I'm used to that because, and it's a lot of people out there are going to be saying like, oh, it's fence riding and all this stuff. It's absolutely not that at all. It's absolutely not that at all because, like I said, we all have different viewpoints. We all have different ways that we feel about things, and we can see that going on in the fandoms right now. In case you guys don't know, what was it? Just this past Sunday, Josh over at the Den of Nerds started a new fan movement called the Gray Order, and this is something that's been in talks for a while. I've pretty much been on board with this ever since, and we can already see that people are already, they're not even clutching their pearls, they're clutching their nuts. They're acting like it's something that it's not. We can see, and that's because, again, just like the Fandom menace, it's something that is misunderstood, and that's all. That's okay. But that's what it's there for. It's to start these kind of conversations and have, have some civil discourse. And this Saturday, over on Ryan Kennel's show, RK Outpost, they're going to be having a stream over there with Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, where he, faces his haters. But now they've kind of changed the name of that. And hey, it's all good. It doesn't matter what it's called, as long as it's people getting together to have a conversation. Now, you guys know me here on this channel. I don't follow Jeremy or Geeks and Gamers. They're just not my cup of tea. Occasionally, I go to their channel, check out some of their videos and things like that, and hey, like I said, I just don't subscribe because it's not my cup of tea. Just like Nerdrotic. Nerdrotic isn't my cup of tea as well. But you know what? I actually seen a video, and I think I was talking about this yesterday. I seen a video that he did a couple days ago talking about Terminator Dark Fate and the marketing and everything, and kind of why it's failing at the box office, and why I believe some of what he said is true. I actually, that video, I watched it. I'm like, hey, I kind of agree with the guy. He made a lot of solid points that I agree with. And again, he's one of those creators out there that I don't subscribe to. I don't watch. Hey, he's got a huge following. You know what I mean? He don't need me there. You know what I'm saying? Especially because, like I said, I don't. You just don't make enough content that I'm into. The same with Geeks and Gamers. It's not anything personal against them. I mean, hell, like I said, my boy Drunk 3PO is part of Geeks and Gamers and all that too. They just don't put out enough consistent content that I watch and that I enjoy watching. And that probably goes the same for you and same for people who don't watch my channel. And that's okay. Like I said many times, it's different strokes for different folks. And but again, like I said, this thing that's the Gray Order, it's just another fan group that doesn't. It's not saying that you can't be part of the Fandom Menace, or if you're part of the Fandom Menace, you can't be part of this or anything like that, or if you're a Raylo shipper, this and that. It's not even about that. All it is just a group of creators, or and just even fans who want to make positive based Star Wars content, even while being critical, and just want to talk about it. And that includes, if you ask me, that includes a lot of members of the Fandom Menace. Now the thing is like I said, already the Gray Order has, by some of the people in the Fandom Menace and just some of the other fans out there, has already been kind of looked at as this. People are already starting to talk trash about it. It's like, well, like, you guys are welcome to it too, and the Gray Order isn't saying that you can't be part of the Fandom Menace and still be part of the Gray Order. It's not like that. It's just like the Fandom Menace in a sense that you can be a part of the Fandom Menace, and you could be a Raylo shipper if you wanted to be, and be part of the Fandom Menace. That's the whole thing. Is everybody takes what they feel and just kind of they don't like one thing, so they categorize it in that way. Everybody gets pigeonholed in these senses, and I totally get that, why people feel defensive. People are going on the offensive and things like that. Apparently there's been some discourse between even like John Talks and Josh over there at the Den of Nerds. I have no clue what that's all about. It's really none of my concern, because I don't watch John Talks or anything like that. Again, just one of those creators who don't make content that that I enjoy watching on a regular basis. Though I do occasionally stop in his channel and check out some of his videos. Again, not everybody is everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay, guys. That is absolutely fine. But again, like I said, the Gray Order is already being even by people who aren't part of the Fandom Menace, even by other people out there who are Raylo shippers, or just not even that, who are just Star Wars fans, thinking that it's something else. Like, it's not going against the Fandom Menace. It's not going against Raylo shippers. It's just a new group, guys. It's all it is. And I think you'll see, just like the Fandom Menace, there's a vast array of people who are willing and want to be a part of that, just because there are a lot of people out there, and that's why I say it's a group of people who want to make who want to criticize what's still going on. It's still okay to be critical, but doing it in like somewhat of a positive light. I mean, and essentially what that means is you don't have to be a jerk about it. And I think that's how it is all the time. I mean, we all have tendencies to be that way, to be jerks about stuff that when it comes to things that we don't believe in, things that we don't agree with, and stuff like that. And that's okay. But guys, it's okay to have some civil discourse. That's okay. But it seems like anytime there's discourse, nobody wants to remain civil. That's just not how it is, right? Everybody takes offense and has to guard their own sides. Everyone is always on guard, and that's really not what it is, guys. Like if you guys ever follow me here long enough, you'll probably find that you have a hard time offending me. That's just not anything I do. I don't take anything personally. For one, like here on like the YouTube landscape and stuff like that. Like I mean, I have a lot of people I associate with. A lot of people I would say are cool. A lot of people I would say are friends. But like really, like nobody on here is my friend. Okay, I don't know any of these people personally, and just because I don't know them personally and have never met them personally doesn't mean that I don't consider them friends in that way. But like most of my actual friends, they're not on YouTube. They don't come to my channel, and things like that. But I have chosen to align myself with a few select people that I think are all right, and and there's nothing wrong with that. And like I said, that's just the way the world is, and I wish more people would understand that. And like I said, this gray order thing, it's just another fan movement that you don't have to be a part of, and at the same time, you don't have to bash, because I could guarantee you that like nobody really takes it that personal. I mean, I can tell you that everybody at some point takes things, gets a little bit on the defensive about stuff because, it's their positions that they hold and stuff like that. Like if you're a Fandom Menacer, somebody comes after the Fandom Menace, you're probably going to take a little bit of reservation and maybe be on the defense. And like I said, guys, that's just not where I'm at. Like I said, I associate with many people in the Fandom Menace, and you guys have probably heard me plenty of times. And this is a morning live stream, and today I'm not gonna go off the rails. I'm not gonna go off the rails. But I've been on record plenty of times saying "f the Fandom Menace," and the thing is sometimes people get offended by that and like, why are you always attacking the Fandom Menace? And the thing is, I'm not. But the thing is I also think the Fandom Menace is a group that Fandom Menace. This is a state of mind, people. It's just a group. It's just a group of fans. Because believe me, when it comes down to the creators, a lot of people that consider themselves Fandom Menacers, I have no problem with them. As a matter of fact, I've got much respect for a lot of those people. Like I said, Drunk 3PO, Abu Nas, Damaj and I could be wrong here, but I believe Fatal J has gone the way of being a Fandom Menacer as well, and that's okay. These dudes are cool in my book. You know what I mean? They're guys I like and guys I have no problem associating with, and that's just kind of who I am, man. Like it doesn't. I'm not worried about those kinds of things. I mean, you guys even know like Young Rippo, one of my absolute favorite content creators, he's aligned with the Fandom Menace, and that's okay. But like I said, I've gone out there and said F the Fandom Menace, and believe me, guys, if I talk about something here on this channel, you see me mentioning somebody's actual name and stuff like that, it's probably because, it's not because I'm necessarily saying F them. It's probably because I actually care about things. You know what I mean? Other than that, I would just blanket it with a broad statement and just be like, hey, there's this. Um, and, like I said, I wouldn't even mention it if it wasn't something I cared about, if there wasn't people involved with it that I care about. And that's just who I am. You know what I mean? Because like I said, if it's something I don't care about, I wouldn't spread the word, because I'm not one of those people who smells something bad and says, "Here, smell this," buttercupping people or anything like that. I just, it's ridiculous. When you see somebody posting some of those pictures or some of those things like, "Ugh, God, can you believe what this person said? Here, share this and read it." I just don't do that. So if you hear me mentioning something, it's probably because I somewhat care about these people, and anybody I don't care about, I wouldn't shine the light on them and bring any attention their way. You know what I mean? Like hell, I've been here on the channel talking about War Stew lately, and I wouldn't mention his name if I really didn't care. And that's just who I am. That's just how I am. So chances are, if you hear me mentioning names or anything like that, or talking about things repeatedly, like I have talked about the Phantom Menace quite a bit here on this channel, it's because I have no problem with that. I have no problem with them or anything like that. And that's part of the thing, like I'm talking about, is a lot of people are marginalized for who they associate with and things like that, and that's just not something I do. Not something I do. So anyway, guys, that's really about that. And like I said, if you guys haven't checked out Ryan Kinnell, RK Outpost, you guys need to go check out his channel, because tomorrow he's going to be doing that stream with Jeremy from Geeks a Gamer, who's going to go on there and be, well, for one, he's going to be talking with Josh from the Den of Nerds. So you guys know I'll be there anyway. I was there on the last RK Outpost when he did that stuff as well. Just because, I like seeing people have some of those discussions, and sometimes, it's good. It's healthy to have those discussions and those debates, even when people, start to get a little personal and get a little heated and all that stuff. It's perfectly okay. I mean, that's the best place to have it, because it's okay to do it from your safe space in your own little video, in your own little home or your studio or whatever you have like that. That's easy to do, but it's a lot. And or when you're doing it from behind your computer there, on Twitter or Facebook or whatnot, I mean, it's easy to do that. But then when we're actually confronted, when we're actually face to face with somebody, things are different. You know what I mean? Things like, yeah, you conduct yourself differently, because you can actually tell somebody's expression. You get all more emotion out of it. That's why I think, what's going to go on Saturday, it'll be a good thing. It'll be a good thing, because, like I said, I already think that people have, some reservations, or maybe some misconceptions about exactly what the Great Orator is, just like people have those same misconceptions about the Fandom Menace. And altogether, seeing all these people come together to have these conversations are a good thing. Now, honestly, even the last one that they had, was, I thought it was a pretty good stream, and they had, they all got together and had some, just had some discussions, and even one of the own Fandom Menacers himself got beat up during that live stream. I mean, honestly, he got jumped. Black Angus reviews, he got jumped on that live stream. He did, because he went there to talk to Jeremy and air out some grievances, and then of course, Anna, that Star Wars girl, came on, and she went at him. Now, to me, I think this is a little bit silly, because I thought it was, Jeremy confronts his haters, and then it become, like, everybody jump Black Angus. But again, that's okay. And I don't think that Black Angus really cares about that, because the one thing is we all do things to ourselves. You know what I mean? We put ourselves in these positions. We do things to ourselves, and Black Angus reviews, of all people, Black Angus knows that he knows he's not everybody's cup of tea. And he, even at that time, there were some things he probably was like, oh, well, hey, we all, until it comes to times like that, we don't completely understand what somebody's, viewpoints are. And like I said, I felt like he got jumped that day, and I was like, damn, man, I feel bad for you, Black Angus. I think he probably even lost some subscribers, due to that stream. And you know what? That's okay, because when it comes down to something like that, if you're going to lose subscribers over having a little bit of discourse with some people, those are subscribers you don't want around anyway, right? But if you ask me, those are subscribers that you do want around, because none of us want to remain in an echo chamber. None of us want that. None of us want to be there. I mean, I'm sure some people do want to be in an echo chamber, so so there are people there to stroke their egos and things like that. But altogether, it's not a good thing. We need that opposition. We need somebody else out there, maybe to, make us look at ourselves and reflect. A little bit of self-reflection never hurts, and also to keep us in check. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. Like, even recently on Monday, if you guys were here, yeah, I went pretty hard at a member of the YouTube community out there, Pop Culture PB. And again, guys, I even said during that video, it wasn't personal. I mean, sure, I probably kind of went at him pretty hard, and he might have taken it personally. But the thing is some of the reason why I say the things I said is because, like I said, he's one of these people that I know to be a seemingly smart individual, who has a rational thought process. And I just felt like, in this particular instance, what he was, talking and reflecting on, I just couldn't give him the due respect that he probably deserves, just based on his position that he has. Okay, and again, nothing against him. He's an all right guy. Hell, he's funny. I've watched him plenty of times on, Zod's stream, General Zod stream, that he does every night. You know what I mean? So again, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And like I said, he's not a bad guy. And as a matter of fact, last night I was on Lonely Banter's channel on, Lonely with some friends, and he was going to try to bring him on. We were going to have a discussion about this and that, and that would have been cool. But apparently he was, doing, on part of another live stream with, Proper Jeremy. Is that his name? Proper Jeremy. I don't know. He's a channel I don't follow as well, and not for any reason other than I just don't follow him. I haven't really watched any of his content to know, how he is, or really who he is. But as far as I've seen him on some other people's streams and things like that, he seems like an okay guy. Again, I don't take a lot of these things personally. You know what I mean? And certainly, I hope nobody ever takes anything that I say personally, unless I actually really say something personally about you, which most people I don't know personally to make any kind of personal attacks. Now we all have criticisms of each other, of course. So yeah, like I said, but some people take things personally, you know what I mean, and that's just fine because we the only thing we can do is share our thoughts. We can't control others' actions, you know what I mean. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And yeah, so that's just the world we live in. And okay, guys, let's see who all we got here. It looks like we got 6 people here on the live stream right now. It looks like we got Dylan's comic book rants. What's up, my brother? How are you doing, Dylan? We need to you need to get a hold of me, or maybe I'll get a hold of you. We need to get together sometime and have a little conversation, man. Maybe we'll get together and do a little live stream and chat it up. Joe's Geek Show, what's up, my brother? How are you doing this morning? Kobe reviews movies. How are you doing, man? And if you guys haven't checked out each other's channels, I suggest you guys go and check out each other's channels. Kobe Reviews Movie is a young man who's been doing some movie reviews out there, and I mean, you should check him out and go support him. I mean, that's one thing I'm into. Like I said, I've got kids. I've got 3 kids myself, and I'm trying to grow them into being little cinephiles, little movie buffs themselves. You know what I mean? And I can already tell they're getting there. They're slowly getting there, and that's why I enjoy seeing somebody like a Kobe Reviews Movies out there. Making his own way, man, growing and developing in that sort of way. And I have a feeling that one of these days there's getting a lot of people who knows Kobe Reviews Movies. Um, Tommy, good morning. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well this morning, man. Tommy has got to be like one of the busiest guys on YouTube. Okay, and as a matter of fact, yesterday he dropped a very good video talking about trolls and dealing with trolls. And and one thing I will actually say, and he talks about that even in his videos about trolls. Like, what exactly is a troll? Just because somebody says something that you don't agree with doesn't make somebody a troll. Just because somebody's out there leaving comments that you might think are trolling doesn't necessarily make them a troll. I think most of us don't give a troll the time of day. A lot of times you can tell somebody is actually trolling. Sometimes it's somebody that's actually serious. But you guys should go check out that video that Tommy did yesterday. It was a pretty good one. It was a pretty good one. And it was actually even something that made me even think a little bit about the discourse that I had with Pop Culture PB. Because and that's something that I left on when he came to my live from my live stream on Monday, where he came and he left some comments and stuff like that. And the thing is I like I said, I have no problem with him, and I even told him in that particular video, like, I'm not saying he's a troll. I don't think he's a troll at all. He's just being honest and sharing his feelings. Now, sure, we were kind of going at each other, but that's okay. Like I said, I don't take it personal, and I gotta be honest with you. I don't think Pop Culture PB takes it personal as well. Like I said, I think he's a good dude and somewhat of a rational individual. Just in this particular arena, we just happen to disagree on this one thing. Okay, so let's see who else we got here. Coffee Breath, thank you so much for being here. Um, Let's see. Tommy says, "Yep, he is now." Trinity. Oh, who? Who is? Oh man, what I'm see. That's what happens when you go on and flap your gums without paying attention to to the live streams or to the chats. Coffee Breath says, "Too Doomcock is too funny to hate." I think I subscribed to Doomcock's channel. I've only watched a couple of his videos. And again, he's one of those creators. He's definitely not everybody's cup of tea, but I thought he was interesting. Again, I don't share all the same viewpoints as he does, but I like. I guess I kind of like the way his content was formatted, I guess you could say. But again, agree with what he says. Not all the time. But again, I've only watched a few of his videos. But yeah, and he's definitely not everybody's cup of tea neither. Like I said, nobody is. Not everybody's like that. And if you're somebody who's out there, you're a creator who's out there trying to appeal to everybody. Just don't even try it. Just don't even try it. Somebody's not going to like you. Somebody's going to have something to say. So that's why it's always best to be honest. Not only be honest with your audience, but be honest with yourself. Be honest and genuine with yourself. And I've seen, and that's what I've always tried to do here, is be honest and genuine with myself. And if there's ever anybody out there that has anything to say, like critically of me, please say it and let me know. I have no problems taking the honest criticisms, and that's something I hope to get into tonight on the Trailer Park Live, when I have some conversations with some individuals. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Let's see here. What else we got to say? Coffee Breath says you can't get punched in the throat on the internet. Yeah, you can't. And sometimes I know some people wish they could just reach through that screen and punch somebody in the throat or the face, or you know what I mean? But a lot of times I think, you know what you need to do more than that is go to the gym, lift some weights, get a punching bag. You know what I mean? Do some sparring. That stuff is actually really good for you, especially the punching bag thing. I mean, for one, it's a good stress reliever. It's a great workout and things like that. And hey, you might actually learn how to throw a proper punch. Tommy says Justin Proper. Okay, yeah, Justin Proper. Yeah. Coffee Breath says you should show up links when you do stuff like that. Oh, do stuff like what? Oh man. Um, okay. Let's see. Wu Tang Wells. What's up, my brother? How you doing, man? I take it you here. You know what? Since I know that. Um, oh, okay. Yeah. Wu Tang Wells greeting. Long time viewer, first time Wu Tang member. That's funny. Tommy says Trinity Fatal is considered fandom menace. Okay, I thought that he went to the dark side. um, Coffee Breath says I don't agree most of the time. Agree with who? Agree with me? That's okay. Or agree with somebody else. It don't matter because that's okay. It's okay. I mean, it seems like these days, like everybody just wants somebody to agree with them, but that's just not the way the world is. You know what I mean? I mean that's great to disagree because, like I said, a lot of us want to have just some of that civil discourse. It's okay to disagree, like and this whole thing. And I've talked about this before. People did this whole thing, the agree to disagree. It's okay to just disagree. It's okay. You don't have to be one of these cucks out there that says, let's agree to disagree. No, like, we don't have to agree on anything. It's okay to disagree. You know what I mean? It just seems like a weak argument, or a weak, it's not even an argument, a weak saying, like, let's agree to disagree. Like, no, let's just disagree and we can leave it at that. It's fine. Let's see. Wu Tang Well says, "Shit, I've complained a few times about the mic being shot, and Trent has made it a point to leave it out of frame. He does listen. Yeah, occasionally. Speed bag. Yeah, man, speed bag. Go to other channels. Sorry, I don't agree with Doomcock, but he is entertaining. Yeah, and see, and that's a cool thing. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, there's plenty of people out there who disagree with others and still find them entertaining. That's what on some of the channels that I don't agree with, like I still find them entertaining. And that's okay. And some people do it to be entertaining as opposed to just getting people to agree with them or anything like that. And that's just fine. So getting into a little bit of movie talk. Like I said, that was just a little primer about what's going to be coming up on the Trailer Park Live tonight. If I can get some of these guests on, and guys, make sure you're subscribed and make sure that you tell your friends to make sure to be here because on Sunday I'm going to have a very very special guest on the channel, and I'll be very proud and honored to have this individual on. And I'm not going to throw names out there or anything because one thing, like some people out there do, I'm not trying to gain a notoriety or gain a whole bunch of users, subscribers, just from having a guest or because of anything like that. And sometimes I feel that's kind of what it is. But I'm gonna have Young Rippa 59 on the show on Sunday. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna have a great conversation. As you guys know, he's one of my favorite content creators. So I probably won't be putting like a thumbnail out there and advertising it all, today and Friday and well, I guess today is Friday and Saturday and all that stuff. I'm probably just gonna make a thumbnail and put it up. I'll probably let you guys know again tonight that I'm gonna have him on the show. It's going to be an absolutely great time. It'll be my first time actually having him here on the channel to have a great discussion. I can guarantee you we're going to have a very good time. Wu-Tang Well says, so do I need to make an alternate Patreon account to donate on behalf of this YouTube account to get my Blue Wrench on this one? No, man. And speaking of which, I mean, why are you not on your regular account, man? I'm Misguided says, no, that guest is not me. Tommy says you definitely need to have Ripper on. Yeah, he'll be here. He'll be here on Sunday. I just finally, I said I think 2 days ago I was gonna contact him that day, but I just got in contact with him this morning, and we're gonna sit down and have a great conversation. I can guarantee you it's gonna be fun, and it's one of those kinds of things like he's not like a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity or anything like that, but he's just a guy out there who's got a big platform and he's well known. And it's one of those kinds of things when you have somebody on that, you're like a little giddy or a little happy, like, and that's just natural because when we get together with people that we've never actually met, people that we like, you kind of get that way, right? You kind of get that way. It's just how it is. And like I said, he's one of my favorites. One of my favorite content creators, so it'll be a good time. So getting into some of the movie talk that I want to talk about today, guys. As you can see there in the chat, I listed about Dora there, Dora the Explorer. If you guys haven't watched this movie, it just came out on digital on Tuesday. Dora the Explorer, The Lost City of Gold, guys. I never did my review on it, and maybe I'll go ahead and do one, but so some of you guys may not have kids, and some of you, it may not even matter. But if you guys haven't watched Dora the Explorer, I've never really watched the cartoon or anything other than what my kids watch. But watch the movie. Watch the movie. It's actually pretty good. I took my kids to the theater to see it, I don't know, a little over a month ago, and we went and seen it, and it's a really well done movie. Is it a great movie? I actually think it is. I think it is for what it is. The movie doesn't try to play around with something that it's not. I know a lot of people were a little bit critical of it, not in a bad way, about before it came out and everything. Like, why is she a teenager? Why this and that and all this different kinds of stuff? And it's actually a very cute movie. It knows what it is. It definitely pays a huge homage to the cartoons, as there are some sequences in it that they actually go into the cartoon world. They have the whole world there that has been built up around Dora the Explorer. There's just absolutely great performances in it by all the actors that they have in the movie. And again, like I said, this movie isn't for everybody. As far as the captive audience that it's gonna pull into it. But again, it's a very fun movie, and I was quite surprised and quite delighted at how good it was. And I would suggest that if you don't like Terminator Dark Fate or don't want to see it, watch Dora the Explorer instead. It's kind of the same thing. um, he says, "I'll Facebook you and confirm it's me and not an imposter." Oh, no, it's all good, man. It's all good. You're not getting your wrench back, Russell Wells Benjamin. I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. Let's see what we can do about that. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take a chance on you. I'm gonna take a chance on you, Wu Tang Moles, and you better be Russell. You better be. Otherwise, I'm gonna take your wrench away. Wu Tang Mo says, "Does Dora goes to the cartoon world?" Yeah, there's this really kind of weird trip thing that happens in the movie that it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny when it happens in in the movie. Again, it was there are things in the movie that are like completely predictable and stuff like that. It's not meant to be some profound movie with a bunch of profound things in it, but it's a good coming of age story with Dora the Explorer, and that's why in the movie she's a teenager and she ends up going to high school, being there with her cousin Diego, who is obviously from the cartoon. We even see there's Swiper, there's Boots, there's all the characters there. Again, it's not a movie that tries to be something that it's not. It knows the filmmaker knew exactly what he was doing when they made the movie, and I thought it was a really good movie. And that's seeing that movie is kind of why I say I draw those parallels and those lines to Terminator Dark Fate, because in the beginning of Terminator Dark Fate, in case you haven't seen it, there's the build up and the introduction of the character Danny in the movie, who is like the main character, or who is laughingly the new John Connor that is in the movie. That when they introduce the character, like I'm sitting there watching the movie, like, this is Dora the Explorer. You should have just got the young lady who played Dora in the movie Dora the Explorer to be in this movie, because it was like the exact same thing. They might have saved some money on the budget and not had those huge budget hurdles to overcome once the movie has started to flop at the box office. And I know I've seen a lot of people out there saying like, "Oh, this movie is a huge flop," and you know what? It is, guys. And they were talking about how it's lost all this money already. Well, the movie hasn't completed its theatrical run. It's going to make a little bit more money. Is it ever going to come close to making back the money that they put into production and promoting this movie? Absolutely not. I don't think that movie is going to ever make the money back that they put into it. Even once it gets on DVD, even for people who are somebody like me who's going to go buy it and put it in their collection just because they want to have their whole complete collection or anything like that, the this movie is not going to make its money back, and it's going to be. Can't say it's a monumental failure, but it's a huge one. This is a huge failure on their part with this movie, and a lot of that is something I do agree with. Some of the people out there in like the Fandom Menace, and part of the issue was some of the how would you say, woke marketing. And you guys know, if you guys know me here on my channel, like when it comes to the wokeness, I find it a complete joke, and a lot of people who use the term woke are complete jokes in the first place. But in the marketing for this movie, they took it there. They did, and which is sad because this movie doesn't have any of that in the movie. It doesn't have like how would you say, like those kind of social agendas or anything like that within the confines of this film. At least not as anything that I picked out. Just it's just, I mean, the closest it comes to is it has some the lead characters are female, and that's kind of what the whole Terminator franchise has been for a long time anyway. Is Sarah Connor was always one of the lead characters in this franchise. So again, but I don't see what they did in the marketing. It was a huge mistake. And when people say that about what they were doing when they promoted the movie, they did do that. And the thing is like everybody's out there talking about, oh, Tim Miller, they're going on this and that, with this woke marketing and kind of stuff. Yeah. And the thing is like he went out there and he did make some of those statements. And the one thing I want to say is, people talk about all this wokeness out there and everything is, and I talked about this the other day, is where was anybody when Deadpool came out? Is it just that we weren't at the point of the discourse and fandom and things like that people didn't bring that up? Go watch the movie. They celebrate International Women's Day and he gets pegged. You know what I mean? I mean, is it just and even look? You can even look at the character Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Obviously, she's got a girlfriend in the movie. Obviously, she says things in the movie that kind of fit that kind of sort of woke agenda, and yet I don't know that and I could be wrong, and if somebody did criticize it in that way, please feel free to message me or leave a link here in the comments on this video letting me know if there's somebody that was pointing out the wokeness in Deadpool or even Deadpool 2. Please let me know. And maybe it's just because I just barely got on YouTube maybe about a year and a half ago, but I don't remember seeing anybody talking about the wokeness in those movies. And believe me, if there's any movies out there that have it in there, it's Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. It's definitely in there. The thing is maybe the reason that nobody's complaining about it is because a lot of the stuff in there was well written. It was well written, well played out, and it was done in a manner that makes a lot of people laugh. But of course, the people who would be part of the woke crowd probably weren't laughing and things like that. But I just don't. Again, this is just some stuff that I mean, if Myrtle was here, he'd be like, I don't even get this stuff. Y'all understand what's going on here? Ah, hell, man, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's just some crazy things going on out there in the world. And again, it all comes from our personal perspectives and how we feel about things. So again, the movie they did with the marketing, and I've got to agree with some of the people out there that are criticizing that. I know even Ryan Kennel from RK's Outpost, he had made a video talking about that as well as like I said, nerd at the beginning of the video, Nerdrotic, a channel I don't really follow, but I watched his video on it, and I'm like, I can't disagree with you there. Like when they went to marketing that movie, they did go there. They absolutely did, and that is obviously something that hurts the box office when it comes to getting people in the movie. Like the same. One could easily make the argument, well, it didn't hurt Captain Marvel, and don't give me none of that bull crap about like, oh, they faked the numbers, Disney bought tickets, and this and that, and this and that. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Please show me some proof. If you got something like that, say just show the proof. Just show the proof. That's all you got to do. The thing is I think that for the most part, that movie legitimately they made that money, and part of it is through the outrage marketing that they did leading up to that movie. But I mean, let's not forget, guys, that it was like the first really like female led superhero movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it had that going for it. It also had the point that, it was kind of insinuated in Avengers Infinity War that it was going to have huge implications on Avengers Endgame, which while it did have implications on it, it didn't have huge, like these big vast things that were in there. However, I do believe that it had things in there that are going to play a bigger part in the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. Absolutely 100%. And guys, speaking of which, is there anybody else out there excited to watch Mandalorian? God, what is that coming out Monday, Tuesday? Let's see here. Let's see what is today. What is today? Today is the 8th, and it's supposed to premiere on what, the 12th? Isn't it coming out on the 12th or is it the 13th? I think it is the 12th, which is next Tuesday, guys. And I've already got my Disney Plus subscription and everything like that, and everybody can go out there and call me a shill or anything like this and that, or say you're supposed to boycott Disney. I just, dude, I got 3 kids, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that. I just, because they like Disney stuff, and I don't mind Disney stuff. And plus, I'm not like, I'm not such one of those extreme people like that. Like it's no thing to me. I'm just a fan of stuff, man. And one of the things I am is a fan of movies. I'm a fan of films, and that truly does mean that I will go see a movie, even a movie that I think I may not like. Which my hats are off to anybody that's willing to do that, that's willing to go out there and watch something and criticize something that they know that they won't like. That's part of what I do here on the channel with some of my comic books. But even like my guest, if he ends up showing up, like I said, we'll see if he's showing up. Like I said, Stevie J's reviews is across the pond, man. So I completely understand if he's not able to make it. Okay, he's saying tomorrow's perfect. Okay, so maybe tomorrow we'll have Stevie J's reviews on to talk about that, to talk about some Terminator Dark Fate. But my hat's off to him, because everything that everybody has been he's a Fandom Menace member, and everything that everybody in the Fandom Menace has been talking about with like the woke marketing of Terminator Dark Fate, which, like I said, I think they went there with that stuff. He was of the stance like that he's not going to go watch the movie, and lo and behold, he went and watched it. Hats off to you, man. A lot of people won't do that, including, like I said, Pop Culture PB. Said that he's not going to go watch a movie, and hey, good on you. Nobody's gonna make you go watch a movie. It's not a requisite. You know what I mean? So, but good on Stevie J's reviews for taking that chance to be like, maybe I need to go see what everybody's talking about when it comes to these kinds of things. Because for me, one thing I definitely like is somebody, when they're going to criticize something, has an actual informed decision. And that was part of Pop Culture PB's thing, was that we read all these leaks a long time ago and this and that. So we knew what the movie was gonna be. And yeah, there's that, but you've also got to remember there's context that has to be brought to that particular conversation, to that particular viewpoint. And so that's one thing I've talked about on this channel, where I think that we get some of these leaks and things out there like that are kind of detrimental, not only to fans and their in these fandoms, but it's detrimental to their movies. It's detrimental to their movies having some of these leaks come out there. Now, however, even like Tommy was saying last night when we were on LB's channel talking about some of these things, is sometimes it is a good thing, because you can put that stuff out there and maybe get some feelers for how everybody's feeling about these things, and maybe make some course adjustments and make just things like that. So there are times when it's good, there's times when it's bad. Altogether, these companies need to be cognizant of what they're doing and exactly how they're doing these things. But for me, another thing is like, if they don't want people leaking stuff out, they've got to do, and some people are believing that Disney is already doing this, they've at least got to put things out there themselves to get the feelers, instead of, why get leakers on it? Or maybe that's their point, is to get it through leakers so they can get some of that feedback as well. I see no problem with that. But again, it comes as long as it's done properly, because we see some of the people out there who get some of these stories and just completely run wild with it and stuff like that. And again, everybody's searching for clicks on YouTube and everything, and yeah, I don't know. Again, it's just a mixed bag of results when it comes to things like that. That's why I say in the end, sometimes these leaks and stuff like that are really detrimental to it's more detrimental to the fandoms than it is necessarily the movies. But again, being detrimental to the fandom is detrimental to the movie. So I think there's a fine line when it comes to some of these different things, and by all means, I mean that's why they go out there and they do some of these things, and that's something like even I liked about the statement that Martin Scorsese made the other day. In his statement was like they like with some of these films they go out there, they do this market research and all that kind of stuff, so you have something manufactured out there for a specific set of people or these particular fan bases and things like that, and altogether in itself that's not always a bad thing. But at times, I think that it can be a bad thing as well. And again, maybe that's because somebody like himself don't do that. He goes out there and he makes the movie that he wants to make. Maybe they play it to some audiences and some test audiences, but for the most part, they make the movie. You put the trailer out. You put the movie in theaters. It's just how it works. Now, his attack that he was on for a little while and this and that, people are saying, everybody has their mixed reviews about that or their mixed feelings about what he said and everything. Is the fact that I mean he's from the old school, and that's just the way that he's used to doing films, and I understand why he feels the way he does. I just think that he went completely wrong about why he did it. But the other thing is people are making these assumptions like, oh, he's just doing that way because he feels attacked, like he's feel like he's being edged out as the old timer. And the thing is that very well could be true. I mean, I think he went on just that kind of attack, but at the same time, I mean, he does make a different type of film, and he just makes a film that like, here's what the film is. You take it at what it is, and you like it or you don't. Yeah. Let's see. Wu Tang Mel says, "Can't wait for Mandalorian." Yeah, me neither, man. I can't wait to see it. And like I said, guys, I'm not like a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, I love Star Wars. I grew up with the stuff. But yeah, this is one I'm pretty pumped up and can't wait to see. Wu Tang says, Disney Plus launches at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, November 12th at 9 a.m. Eastern. So that's 6 o'clock my time. Maybe by the time we get to Tuesday morning on the morning movie chat, we'll talk about it. But again, I'm not. Everybody's going to be out there making videos about it and everything. That's something me and LB were talking about yesterday too. Me and LB and Tommy was everybody's going to be making videos on it, bruh. You know what I mean? So getting buried in that YouTube algorithm. It's a real thing. You know what I mean? It's a real thing. So that's why, anytime with some of your favorite creators, the best thing that you could do is go out there and make sure that you're subscribed to your favorite creators and make sure you have that little bell clicked on so you get notifications anytime they've uploaded new content. And that's why it's important to make sure you leave them a thumbs up or a thumbs down and interact in the comments and stuff like that, because that helps all of us fight against Hydra, who is always out there constantly trying to bury us in those YouTube algorithms. And we all know how harsh of a world that can be if you're a content creator. It's very easy. And we all know how the forces of Hydra work. They get you and they treat you like Tommy Boy, like, oh, my little pet. Oh. Ah! That's what they do to you. Hydra, help battle against them by giving even this video a like or giving it a dislike. I don't take it personal. Just leave one of them. Just leave one of those things. It's all good. It's all good, man. Let's see. Rev Kev, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? And here, again, here is one of those members of the Fandom Menace that you can see. You go to watch his videos. He's one of these rational voices out there, and unfortunately, I can guarantee you that since he is, a fandom, a member that aligns with the Fandom Menace, people marginalize him, and this dude, this dude's a pastor. He's a great guy. Go watch his videos. But again, he's one of those people that some people out there will marginalize just because he's a member of the Phantom Menace and all that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous, guys. It's a ridiculous thing. But that's just the way the world works these days. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Rev Kev says it can definitely lose a bit of the art of filmmaking when it is so formula driven. Absolutely. And that's one of the things I absolutely agree with Martin Scorsese, is because at that point you're manufacturing something as opposed to just making a movie, making it fun and entertaining and putting it out and seeing how the audience responds to it. Now, I get that Disney has shareholders and things like that their number one obligation is to make money. but almost guaranteed a Disney movie is going to make money. So they shouldn't worry about that. They should just worry about going out there and making a good movie that they want to make, that the filmmaker wants to make, with some oversight, of course, because when you're making these franchise films like a Star Wars, you can't just leave a filmmaker or somebody to just run their stuff all willy-nilly, because we can see what happens. We see what happens when you get a director on there who makes a movie that doesn't necessarily follow the lore of a given universe or anything like that. So again, there's got to be some oversight, and there has to be real oversight. That oversight has to make sure that what they're doing is consistent. Now a lot of people talk about like the Rey character and everything like that, where it's basically a lot of people will say she's a Mary Sue. A lot of people will say that the even like the Force Awakens was just basically a reboot of A New Hope, and most of that could easily I mean, I can easily understand a lot of those criticisms. And at the same time, I will say where their failure was, especially, I think a lot of people would agree with this, aside from their feelings of Rey and the character and stuff like that, is the one thing that they didn't do with The Last Jedi is make it it's not a movie that builds upon her character in the way that the Empire Strikes Back built upon Luke's character. It's like they missed, like the whole movie missed that part of that character's arc. And I truly believe, even with some of the ridiculous things that happen in that film, I think that if they would have actually built upon that in the right way, continued that building upon that character's lore, it would have it wouldn't have hit people so wrong. But that's why people are going to go out there and say that she's a Mary Sue and stuff like that, because we didn't get that character building in that world. Now, there's plenty of things in that movie that, I mean, are aside from that are pretty ridiculous, that happen out there, and that's just from my point of view. If you feel differently about that, that's okay. Feel free to leave those comments down in the comment sections. The one thing that I've said and I've been laughing about is that it just strikes me funny that was it General or Admiral Holdo happens to be the only person in the galaxy with a hairdresser that can go and dye her hair purple. Oh, that's just funny. It's funny. In case you guys don't know, R2D2, out of all this stuff, was always my favorite character when it comes to Star Wars. When I was growing up, man, I absolutely loved R2D2 with his little pimp whistle and shit. He's a, love it, dude. I love R2D2. And what I'm mad about is that he's not getting his due respect in the sequel trilogy. If there's anything I don't like about the sequel trilogy, that's it. Give my boy some dues, man. He's been there the whole time. I mean, essentially, the whole franchise is about him. It's not about Anakin and the Skywalkers. What the hell is wrong with people? Brothers, sisters, haters, and lovers. The whole franchise is about my boy R2. You know what I'm saying? And told through the eyes of his homie, his heterosexual life partner, C-3PO. You gotta love it. That's my boy. You're my boy, R2! I love R2D2. When I was growing up, man, I had this really it was huge. It was like this, I don't know, I guess it was about, I don't know, you can't see it. There's no perspective. This nice big round and kind of deep toy box that looked just like, it was made out of that, that it wasn't even plywood, but that board kind of stuff, and it was all in a little circle as a toy box, and it had this little plastic lid on it, a little dome top like this, that came off and on, and it was R2D2, man. I used to climb in there. I used to empty my toys out of there, my stuffed animals and everything, and climb in there and sit there and whistle and stuff, and act like I was R2D2. I miss that toy box. I wish I still had it. Of course, I wish I still had a lot of things from my childhood, you know what I'm saying? I wish I still had all my Star Wars action figures. I wish I still had my Spider-Man that my uncle threw one day on top of my grandma's roof and I never seen it again. Or my little Incredible Hulk that I had when I was little and I think the neighbor kids stole it. Wish I still had those things. But, we can't hold on to everything forever. Rev Kev says, I'm out of town for work all next week and promised my kids to watch Mandalorian with him. I won't be able to see it till Thursday. Will be tricky to stay spoiler free. Yeah, it will be. I mean, pretty much what you'll have to do is not watch. You just pretty much have to stay off social media. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you understand that and realize that. But it always cracks me up how so many people get on social media and they're like, "Oh man, I had this spoiled for me." Like, bruh, like you should know by now to stay off social media. You know how people are. Like how you see all those memes out there with spoilers, and it shows a bunch of car spoilers, and you see Tony Stark dies in Avengers Infinity War, and you see those kinds of things, and at this point, the way the internet is, we know when it comes to something you don't want spoiled, it's almost imperative you have to stay off the internet. You have to, I mean, even with your friends and other creators and stuff like that, you have to avoid them because people don't care. They go out there and they purposely try to do that and spoil it for others. And it is pretty ridiculous. Rev Kev says, "I get mocked for many reasons. You're too kind. Thanks." Yeah, I'm sure you do. And again, I think a lot of the fandom ministers do as well. Get mocked and get pigeonholed and a whole bunch of different things for that. And Rev Kev is one of those people that are people I always find interesting. And I've seen that in one of his videos. Is I'm not a religious person. I'm not a believer or anything like that. But I always find it interesting to find people like a Rev Kev and just pastors and things like that. Because a lot of people pigeonhole all of these people like, oh, they're a pastor, they believe in God and all this stuff, and they always feel this way about stuff, like this is just how they are, and it's like, no, they're not. To me, it's always interesting to get with people like that and have these conversations because most, like I said, most people pigeonhole people like that, and especially like atheists and things like that. And that's one thing I described is a lot of people think that just because I'm not a believer means that I'm an atheist, and I'm not an atheist neither. I am just me. I'm just Trinity. That's that's just me. You know what I mean? I'm just a human being living on this world. I was born, I'm gonna die, and that's about it. Hopefully my legacy will carry on through my kids, and that's one thing I always kind of believed is I will live on this world forever through my children and through their children, and I hope, the biggest thing I hope is that I'm doing my parents proud and everybody that came before me, and I hope that my children do the same exact thing, and do the best they can to honor me and those that came before them. Revka says, I loved The Force Awakens when it came out. Was so pumped where it would go. I didn't like Star Killer Base though. Star Killer Base. Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Because it was essentially like just like a repeat of the Death Star. And there was another thing. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was in the Last Jedi. One of the other things I didn't like too was when they actually when the good guys went and they destroyed Star Killer Base. The one thing I didn't like about it was, and they're all cheering, is like, okay, so now we're cheering about destroying planets because it was essentially had a planet in its own right and had a living habitat and everything on there. Like we're happy about that. I don't know. I just don't know about that sometimes. It's one of those things of great debate and conflict, I'm sure. But yeah, I feel you there, man. I feel you. Rev Kev says Dora the Explorer was better developed than Ray. Yeah, it was. And again, again, the filmmaker there just knew what he was doing and really did a good job making that movie. LB, what's up, my brother? How you doing this morning? Like I said, me and Tommy were on LB's channel last night for Lonely with some friends. It was a good time. It's always a good time to get together with LB, man. I just like that dude, man. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. And happy belated birthday, LB. You know what I'm talking about. I got you next year, bro. I don't have your phone number to text you personally, but I got you, man. I'm always gonna remember the 5th of November. I will. I'm going to. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm bad with birthdays, man. I'm bad with a lot of that stuff. But Yeah, guys, it's already getting ready to be 9 o'clock. So, again, guys, please make sure that you stay here. Make sure that you're subscribed because tonight is the Trailer Park Live that I do every single Friday night at 8 p.m. I've been doing that pretty consistent since the beginning of the year. And, I'm gonna do that tonight. Hopefully, I'm gonna have some guests on. Like I said, I want to see if Drunk 3PO can and come on and have a conversation with me. We're gonna just dive into some stuff, and it could be an interesting conversation. It can be an interesting conversation because. Yeah, just some of the things we'll talk about. Hoping to have him on tonight if he's able to make it. Like I said, he's out on the East Coast. I'm out here on the West Coast, so time differences do make a difference. I don't expect him to fully commit to being able to be here tonight for that conversation because of those time differences. So I understand if he's not able to make it, but I do if he comes on, I want to have that great conversation with Drunk 3PO tonight, and I may have Mad Max movie talk on tonight as well. I know he's going to be on B level, which I don't know what that is. I've never checked out a B level before, but hey, I'm Second Street, so A B 1 2. We're kind of the same B level, I guess. I don't know. I've never checked out B level channel, but we're both second. We're both second, right? But he's going to be on that stream, and maybe later tonight, Mad Max will be able to get me here, get on the Trailer Park Live tonight, and that's something I hope for because I do like Mad Max movie talks and kind of what he does. Like, I'm not completely in agreement with his methodology and the way he goes about things. You guys know me here. He kind of goes a lot at like geeks and gamers and the fandom menace and all that stuff. And it's something I talk a lot about here on the channel. Is like, bro, if you don't like it, just tune out. Don't pay it no attention. You know what I mean? Don't pay it no attention. You don't have to be. You just don't have to go about the way you're going about things in that way. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if you don't like something. Express your discontent and your dislike for it. Do a video and then leave it. You know what I mean? That's it. We all know where you stand with it. You know what I mean? We know where you stand with those kinds of things. But again, that's something that's something that a lot of people continue to do. I mean, some people are out there just seeking attention. Some people are out there seeking clicks and things like that. That's not anything that I try to really should that I try to build upon. Flipped out, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? He says, love that shirt, bro. My band opened for Seven Dust in 95 97 in Atlanta. Man, that's cool. At the Masquerade, huh? That's awesome because 95 97, gosh, that's before their first album came out, isn't it? Because I want to say that their first album, I don't know, their first album probably came around what, 97 98. um is when I believe their first album came out. So that's cool, man. So you were doing shows with them before they were really like big and well known, and that's cool. So that means that you've probably played with and played in front of Stuck Mojo as well, then. Because I know they were very closely aligned with Stuck Mojo due to Clint Lowry and Corey Lowry, who are brothers, who were both in those respective bands. And that's absolutely cool because Stuck Mojo is another one of my favorite bands from the 90s, man. And they've actually continued on here into the new millennium. I can't remember what their last album was because they got a new singer. Oh, man, did Bones come back? I can't remember if Bones ever ended up coming back, but I seen Bones actually went out there and did some solo work as well. But yeah, man, that's cool, man. That's cool. I like that. Um, I am misguided says of the gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no other reason the treason should be forgot. Right? Yeah, man. LB says my phone number is 407. Beep 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 beep. Flipped out says Mad Max. Whoa, that should be risque. Yeah, man. I hear you, man. The again, that's the same thing. We all know that Mad Max isn't everybody's cup of tea, and he's actually gone out there seeking that kind of attention too. You know what I mean? And that's his own thing. I'm not going to criticize him for that, but I will say, that's what some people do. Some people, and I'm not saying that that's how he built his following or anything like that, but that's what some people do is they go out there looking for attention in those sorts of ways, and everybody does their own thing, man. You know what I mean? Everybody looks for attention in their own ways. I mean, look at Fatal J. You guys know Fatal J. I'm cool with Fatal J. He goes out there, seeking attention and hijacking people's live streams or getting on like everybody and their mama's live streams. You know what I'm saying? Again, That's all good. Hey, you market however you market. Everybody has their different ways of getting attention. But me personally, I don't think that just outright throwing shade at people just for the attention is necessarily the right way we should go about doing it. But that's the way a lot of people doing it. And sometimes people go out there and do things like that people think are throwing shade when it's really not. It's just that people misconstrue things. You know what I mean? And that's certainly certainly what's happened a lot with the Fandom Menace and is what's going on with the Gray Order right now. Everybody has their their different posts that they stand at, and hey, it's all good, man. I get you. I get you. It's all good, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all those criticisms and just how different people do their thing. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. He says that should be risque. Tommy says 1,800 lonelies. Oh, 1-800 lonelies. There you go. 1-800. I'm not 1,800. Yeah, they're 1-800 lonelies. Flipped out says it was awesome. They were called Crawl Space in '95. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And believe me, I've been a huge fan since I first discovered the band of Seven Dust. Like their first album, like I think the first song I heard was Black, which was it Black that was the first? No, it might have been Terminator. That was their first single. I remember I heard that. I can't even remember what channel it was. I seen it on. It was one of those kind of underground things. I don't think it was on MTV, but I was like, dude, like this band is friggin' great. And then I went out there and I bought the album and I was sharing it with my friends. And one of my friends, one of my good friends, was actually like, he's like, oh man, this band is pretty good, but man, why does the singer constantly sound like he's getting ready to take a dump? And then lo and behold, by the time Home came out, their second album, dude, like he was completely on board, tried to do the whole like oh shit, I've been a fan of this group ever since. I'm like, dude, like I used to play these guys all the time. Now all of a sudden you're the biggest fan? Nah, man, we're gonna fight about it, and we probably did. Just because, well, not like fight about it, because that's how it is, like everybody, like amongst our group of friends, because we were really metalheads and into music that way, like shit, you wouldn't have even heard of Biohazard if it wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying? Different stuff like that, because even like my friend that I'm talking about specifically here, Mike Walker, he he went out there with the Seven Dust thing once the second album came out, but he was actually one of those guys. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of Life of Agony. I've talked about them here on the channel before. He was actually a huge fan of Life of Agony, and they actually just put an album out not too long ago. Pretty good, solid album. But he actually when we used to go to concerts, I used to think he was joking until we went to some shows and actually seen Life of Agony, and like the band members in Life of Agony actually knew him. They would see him, they're like, oh, like we seen Joey Z, and he's like, dude, like we went up to Joey Z. We were at Ozfest, and we were just walking there through the crowd, and up come, and a whole lot of people don't recognize people, but we're sitting there walking through the crowd, and all of a sudden, like we just hear, I'm sitting there walking with my friend Walker, and Joey Z, we just hear, dude, what's up, bro? And he's all, Joey Z's all running up, like, hey, giving him hugs and everything. We're all talking. I'm just like, dude, like, you weren't bullshitting. Like, this dude really does know you. He really does. Like, oh, I don't know, kind of cool, man. Yeah, just kind of a cool thing. But yeah, that's sweet, man. And oh yeah, Stuck Mojo, dude. I love Stuck Mojo, man. They are great. They're great. I miss some of those. And I think that's the thing is, kind of when we all grow up, through our growing up years, I guess, like through our teens and maybe 20s, you kind of miss those days, like, oh, those were the good old days. Yeah, I miss those, man. I miss like the 80s and the 90s, man. Just for, just the time era that it was. I mean, and then, you grow up and all these kinds of things. Not that you grow out of things, but, just the world changes. The scene changes, different things change out there. And, yeah, man, that's cool though, man. That's freaking cool, man, that you got to open up and play with them and stuff like that. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know growing up through those times, like a lot of my friends, they were in a lot of bands and everything throughout the years. I grew up in Kansas, so I had a lot of my friends who were in bands and everything in Lawrence, Kansas, and in Kansas City, and just that whole general area. And one of my good friends, he was also just recently, a handful of years ago, they were going out and touring a lot through just through the United States. They did some touring, a band called King Shifter, and yeah, and which is funny because it took me a long time to find Young Ripa's band, Backwards, and I was sitting there kind of like wondering. I'm like, I wonder if my friends in King Shifter ever came across Backwards, and ever did any shows with them or associated with them. Just I don't know. Just always wonder about that stuff, because really, when it comes down to it, a lot of the music scene, just like even like YouTube, it's a small community. You know, it's a small community um, amongst people who are out there touring and who are actually working bands, like a band like a Seven Dust. But that's absolutely cool, man. That's cool, man. That's sweet. That's legit. Mads Mama Bear says, "Have a great day. Have a great day, man. I must have. Did I skip you? Did I not see you in the chat here earlier? Oh, okay, yeah, there you are, Mads. Well, hey, sorry, I didn't even see you and acknowledge you there, Mads Mama Bear. Thank you so much for being here, and my apologies for the other week. You were supposed to come on the show on Friday, Mads Mama Bear, and we are gonna have a conversation about some stuff. And I ended up not doing the show that Friday. It was just like super busy, had a lot of things, and the show just didn't happen on that Friday. And again, I apologize, Mads Mama Bear. I'd be happy to have you on the show again sometime. Um, and thank you for being here. Have a good day. Yeah, yeah, Bones left for good. Yeah, and that's pretty sad because I mean, Bones was great, man. Bones was great. Like he just like got that groove. And I remember I heard the his solo album, and it was, you know, a lot like that, had that Stuck Mojo groove to it and everything. Yeah, it was great. Good stuff, man. But anyway, guys, we've already gone to 10 minutes here over the hour. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel today. Now, make sure, like I said, make sure that you guys show up for the Trailer Park Live tonight. I can guarantee you we're going to get into some good stuff. We're going to have a good conversation. A lot of things going on this week that I want to talk about in a manner in which I don't normally talk about things here on the Morning Movie Chat. So I hope you guys are able to make it here tonight for the on the channel. And then, like I said, don't forget, guys, tomorrow's gonna be that great discussion over on RK Outpost. Ryan Kendall's gonna be hosting that stream where people are gonna be going and having a conversation with Jeremy. You know, I'm 100% in on that video for tomorrow. And then, guys, don't forget, on Sunday I am going to have a very special guest. It's gonna be my absolute honor to have Young Ripper 59 on Sunday, probably about 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you guys are subscribed, and make sure that you click that little bell so you'll get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content. And if you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. I don't take offense to it. But while you're at it, make sure... Oh, I went over that part. Well, you guys all have a good day. It's Friday, and we'll see you all on the Trailer Park Live tonight, brothers. Later.